600 to 600. Welcome to Cost Atlas, the hidden cost of everything. Today, the price of the Panama Canal and why you can't actually pay it. We're about to do something simple. We're going to add up what the Panama Canal cost. The dollars are easy to find. The problem is, the dollars are the wrong number, because the real price of the Panama Canal was never paid in money at all. X is so on 1 to 1 to 5. Start with what it is. The Panama Canal is a 50-mile shortcut between the Atlantic and the Pacific, a cut through the narrowest waist of the Americas. Before it existed, a ship sailing from New York to San Francisco went all the way around South America. The canal erased 8,000 miles from that journey. Today, somewhere around 40 ships cross every day. A huge share of world trade, grain, fuel, cars, the container you ordered last week, passes through this one thin line on the map. But here's the thing nobody tells you about a canal. A ship doesn't sail across Panama in a straight, flat line. It has to climb. And what it climbs on is the key to this entire story. Circans Arnzen 05, 2030 first, the answer you came for. What did it cost to build? The French tried first, in the 1880s. The same company that had just built the Suez Canal. They poured in close to $300 million of the era's money. And then they collapsed. The project became one of the largest financial scandals in French history. And the human bill was worse. An estimated 2,000 people died, most of them to malaria and yellow fever. Then the Americans took over. They bought the French equipment for $40 million, paid Panama $10 million more, and finished the job in 1914. The construction cost about $375 million in 1914 money. Adjust that for inflation, and you land somewhere around $11 billion in today's terms. A century later, Panama spent another $5.25 billion to build a second, larger set of locks for today's giant ships. So there's your headline. Roughly $11 billion to build it, $5 billion to enlarge it. Write it down, because that number, the one everyone repeats, is about to stop being the point. Sir Civ 2030 400 ads. Go back to that ship climbing. Here's what's actually happening. And it's the most important sentence in this video. The two oceans are not at the same height as the land in between. To cross Panama, a ship has to be lifted up about 85 feet, 26 meters, to the level of a lake in the middle, and then lowered back down to the sea on the far side. It's a water staircase, and the canal does this with no pumps. None. It lifts ships the height of an 8-story building using nothing but gravity. Water flows down from a lake above, fills the chamber, raises the ship, and then, once the ship has passed, that water keeps going. Down, out, into the sea. Every lift, every lowering, spends water from that lake, and the lake doesn't get it back. That lake is called Gatun Lake. It's artificial, created when they dammed a river to build the canal. And it is the entire secret of this place. Because the canal isn't really powered by engines or money. It's powered by whatever fills that lake, and only one thing fills it: rain. Grizetrin 400 to 5.435. So let's measure the real cost, not in dollars to in water. One ship, crossing from one ocean to the other, spends roughly 50 million gallons of fresh water. That water fills the chambers to lift it, and then drains away to the sea, mixed with salt, gone for good. 50 million gallons. For one ship. Let that sit for a second. That's enough fresh water to supply a small city for an entire day. About 75 Olympic swimming pools. drained into the ocean, so that one vessel could climb a hill and come down the other side. And then the next ship does the same thing. And the next, 40 times a day. Do the arithmetic, and the canal is letting go of more than 1.5 billion gallons of fresh water every single day. Not wasted by anyone. Not stolen. It's simply the physical price of climbing a mountain with ships. And the canal has been paying it quietly, every day for over a century. Which is fine, as long as it keeps raining. Panama is one of the wettest places on Earth. The lake refills, the meter resets, until the year it doesn't. We 545 seventons and hundreds. In 2023 and into 2024, the rains came up short. The lake dropped. And for the first time, the world watched what happens when a canal runs low on its real fuel. The Canal Authority did the only thing it could. It started rationing. The number of ships allowed through each day was cut. At the low point, down toward roughly half of normal. And the ships that were allowed through were told to ride higher in the water, to carry less cargo, so they'd need less depth and spend less water. Think about what that means. This is one of the most important trade routes on the planet, and it was being throttled not by war, not by money, not by politics, by a dry sky. And here's the part that turns the whole story over. When the slots became scarce, shipping companies started bidding for them. The canal auctioned a small number of priority spots. And during the worst of the drought, a single ship paid over $2 million just to skip the queue. Read that carefully. $2 million. Coup, and it bought you nothing but the right to use water that was never for sale. You cannot buy rain. The richest shipping line on Earth and a fishing boat are equal in front of an empty lake. All the money in the world can only fight over the water that's left. 7-10-18-25. So, how much does the Panama Canal really cost? The build was about $11 billion in today's money, plus $5 billion to expand it. That's the number everyone gives you. And it's real. But it's the answer to a question that stopped mattering the day the canal opened. Because the Panama Canal doesn't cost $11 billion to run. It costs 50 million gallons of fresh water per ship. Over 1.5 billion gallons a day. Paid not in dollars, but in rainfall. And unlike dollars, you cannot print it, borrow it, or wire it across the world overnight. That is the hidden cost of the Panama Canal. The world's most valuable shortcut is the one great trade route on Earth that isn't rationed by price. It's rationed by weather. It cost $11 billion to build, but it costs a rainstorm to run. And the rain is no longer guaranteed. Fishes 18 or 25 9 feet 10. Picture it one more time. Every ship that crosses Panama quietly empties a small city's worth of fresh water into the ocean. And the only thing standing between global trade and a standstill is whether it rained enough this season over one lake in the tropics. The greatest engineering project of its age, and its true running cost was never something an engineer could control. It's the weather. That's the 90-10 to 9-7-55. That's what we do here at Cost Atlas. We find the bill that isn't on the receipt for the things you thought you already understood. The Panama Canal's receipt says $11 billion. Its real invoice is written in rain. Next time, the dam that holds back a sea, and why the most expensive thing a structure can do is simply stand still and never, ever leak. Spoken length target. L1, 500 words, 1 or 30, ton 100 at documentary pace. Within the 8-12 min band, with 70% of body is the cost breakdown, parts 1 to 4. Couture markers placed at natural pauses, 7400 and new 60 hazards. Of 50 BF publicite 50 m Galc transit Seru varies by lock and direction French US death tolls 375 NEM US build 2023-24 transit cut count 2 mum Foss slot auction peak. All flagged in research. MD. Footage. First, every beat is carried by real water lock ship drought imagery. Overlays only land figures. No text on black except the two brand bookends.